By the waters of a foreign land, a poem based on Jeremiah 29 verses 11 to 13. By the waters of a foreign land, we sat and wept. The Chebar Canal, a sluggish, silver snake that crept through plains of dust where foreign gods held sway. We hung our harps on willow trees and turned away from songs of Zion, for the memory burned like coals upon the tongue, a lesson harshly learned. Our home was smoke, our temple was a scar beneath a silent and indifferent star. The bread of Babylon was bitter on the tongue. The lullabies our mothers once had sung were choked with dust, a melody of loss. Our freedom was the shadow of a cross. We had to bear a yoke of shame and toil. We were uprooted from our sacred soil, transplanted captives in a conqueror's loam, so far from what our hearts had called a home. We built our houses, as the prophet said, and planted gardens, wishing we were dead. We took them wives, and gave our sons in turn, and watched the fires of strange new altars burn. 70 years, he wrote, a lifetime. 2. What could a broken, scattered people do? The hope we held was thin as winter light, a fading ember in an endless night. Did God forget? Did he avert his face? Had he abandoned this forsaken place? We cried to heavens that were hard as brass, and watched the empty, weary seasons pass. Our prayers were stones that fell back to the ground, unheard, unanswered, lost without a sound. Despair became the air we learned to breathe. The thorny, tangled crown our sorrows wreathe. Then, through the gloom, a whisper, not a shout, a word that challenged every rising doubt. Not with the thunder of the mountain peak, but tender as the promise to the meek. A scroll unrolled, a message from the Lord. A different, unexpected, living word. For I know the plans I have for you, it read. A thought divine, when all our hopes were dead. A plan I know, a tapestry I weave, though you in knotted, tangled threads believe. You see the back, the chaos, and the fray, the dark and jarring colors of today. You see the severing snip, the piercing needle's gleam, the broken pattern of a shattered dream. But I see the front, the image I design, a purpose woven, perfect, and divine. Each strand of sorrow, every thread of pain, the silver glint of tears that fall like rain, are worked into a fabric strong and true, a masterpiece I have in mind for you. You feel the fall, but I have planned the rise. I see the finished glory with my eyes. Plans to prosper you and not to harm. The promise echoed, a celestial balm. Not to harm? We looked at shattered walls, recalled the terror of the captor's calls. We felt the phantom ache of bindings tight, the long, dark march into the endless night. This felt like harm. This exile, cold and deep, where promises were secrets God would keep. Too far from us. But harm is not the end. A pruning knife is, to the vine, a friend. The goldsmith's fire, which terrifies the ore, is meant to purify and to restore, to burn the dross and let the gold shine free. The harm you feel is not the harm you see. It is the shaping, not the breaking blow, the hollowing that helps the spirit grow, the tilling of a fallow, hardened ground, so that a truer, deeper root is found. My plan is for your welfare, for your peace, a final, full, and glorious release. Plans to give you hope and a future too. Hope, a word we'd almost forgotten. New and strange, it fell upon the wounded ear, a seed of light planted in soil of fear. A future? Here? In Babylon's domain? Where every sunrise brought the same old pain. But God's own future is not bound by place, by mortal timelines or the fleeting space of empires that will crumble into sand. My future is a promise in your hand. It is a dawn that you cannot yet see, a path that winds its way back home to me. It is a door where you perceive a wall, an anchor for the soul when tempests call. It is the certainty that this is not the close, but just the chapter where the hero grows. Your story is not over, it is being told. More precious than a treasury of gold. The whisper settled. Silence in the soul. A part was broken, but a part was whole. And in that quiet, stillness could begin a stirring, a responsive move within. The promise was not passive, not a charm, to merely keep the waiting heart from harm. It was a call, an invitation sent, on which the very fulfillment was bent. Then you will call on me, and come and pray. The word was then, not yesterday, today. Then, when the seed of hope begins to sprout. Then, when my word has silenced your own doubt. Your prayer will change. It will no longer be a cry of rage, a bitter, angry plea, or just a desperate list of your demands, thrown at the sky with tightly clenched hands. Then you will come to me. You will draw near, and banish all the isolating fear. You will walk towards my presence, not away. And in that vulnerable and honest space, you'll pray. And when you pray, with this new-hearted plea, you'll find a different part of you and me. And I will listen to you, came the vow. Not with the distant ear I had till now, when hardened hearts were building walls so high, my words of comfort could not get nearby. But I will lean my very being down, and hear the whisper, hear the slightest sound, the breaking heart, the contrite, heavy sigh, the hopeful tear that glistens in the eye. My listening is more than just to hear. It is an act that draws your spirit near. It is an answer in itself, a grace, a holy quiet in this noisy place. To know you're heard, truly and to the core, is to stand knocking at an open door. But there was more, a deeper final test, to put this covenant of hope to rest. Within the heart, to make it firm and fast, a truth to make the finding truly last. You will seek me, and you will find me then, among the scattered tribes of broken men. When you have searched and sought me from the start, not with your mind alone, but all your heart. To seek with all your heart. What does it mean? It is to look beyond the passing scene, the markets, temples, and the fading lusts, the golden idols that decay to dusts. It means to seek me in the morning haze, and in the quiet of your working days, to seek me in the faces of your own, the fragile community that has been sown in this strange land, to seek me in the text, the ancient laws, however much perplexed. It is to want me more than you want home, more than the fields where you were free to roam, more than relief, more than an easy life, more than an end to all this pain and strife. To seek me for myself, and not my gifts, as the one anchor when the whole world drifts, with all your heart, not with the part that's neat, or pious, proper, publicly discreet, but with the broken, angry, jealous part, the secret, wounded chamber of the heart. Bring all of it, the doubt, the rage, the shame, and burn it all in my refining flame. Hold nothing back, no corner left unswept, no secret sorrows silently still kept. Give me the whole of what you are today, and I will meet you fully on the way. For when you seek with such a pure desire, a holy, all-consuming, focused fire, the finding is a certainty, a fact. The seeker and the sought will interact. You'll find me not in some grand, cosmic sign, but in the subtle shift of your design. You'll find me in the peace that starts to bloom within the four walls of your rented room. You'll find me in the strength to face the day, and in the words you find you need to say. You'll find that I was never far at all, just waiting, listening, for your honest call. And so the exiles, by the river shore, began to see a purpose and much more. The 70 years, once a leaden chain, became a time to learn to live again, a time for purification and for prayer, a time to learn to seek God even there. For in the promise they at last could see a future, and a hope for you and me. A plan for welfare, woven in the pain. A sun that shines behind the hardest rain. A call to seek, with all one's heart and soul. And in that sacred searching, be made whole.